everyone. I'll be resuming my knowledge share on uh, good health of your joints. Okay, so we had started with the core stability. So my previous videos you can check. I was discussing on the core stability and how to gradually start with some very basic exercises, whether it is post pregnancy or you have been too sedentary for a long time. How to start with some very basic core strengthening exercises. So those were just the beginning, and that was involving only the lumbar spine and the core area. Okay, so the stability is a component for all your joints. Okay, so we have so many joints in the whole body. So stability is a component, basic requirement for all your joints. You need to work on improving the stability of all your joints. Okay, apart from stability, the mobility of the joints also will help you maintain a good joint health. Okay, so keeping your muscles flexible, keeping your muscles strong, and improving the endurance of your muscles is one way to promote your joint health as well. Okay, apart from your weight loss and fitness techniques, if you are focusing on a good joint health, you will be able to have a long-term wellness. Okay, so when it comes to your I'll just give you some example for mobility of the joint and how it affects. Okay, so when it comes to the mobility of your thoracic spine, so this is your mid back. Okay, so this is your cervical spine. From here to here you have your thoracic spine, and then starts the lumbar spine. So if you have stiffness, maybe the rotational stiffness in the thoracic area, usually thoracic area will not have a very good rotational mobility because we have ribs attached over there, but they do have some amount of rotational mobility, some amount of flexion, some amount of straightening, that is the extension. So if that is really stiff for people who are sedentary, for people who are not into much of yoga and mobility exercises, so they do develop a lot of stiffness in the mid back section. So now you end up going for a sport, you start playing some sport which requires some kind of rotation, or you start doing Zumba which requires some kind of rotation. There's a lot of repetitive movements in certain directions. So what happens if the stiffness is there in this thoracic area and you're not able to complete your movement because of the stiffness? You will compensate it from the lumbar area. So you will try to rotate more from the lumbar spine area. So there will be a lot of stress on the muscles of the lumbar spine area. There will be a lot of wear and tear in the lumbar spine area, which will cause a lot of symptoms in that area itself. Okay, so you go to a physiotherapist, they start treating the area that is symptomatic, but you need to understand the root cause. Why did it actually happen? Was it because of the stiffness in the hips? Was it because of the stiffness in the thorax? Because the joints above and below also play a role in the contribution of symptoms in the area that got the pain. Okay, so that is one example. Another example is, suppose I started playing a racket sport. I had an injury in the forearm, long back. I'm just giving an example, I didn't have. Okay, so that had restricted my supination. So this is the supination movement where my palm will face upwards, and this is the pronation movement where my palm will face downwards. So this movement of supination and pronation is a combination of your forearm movement and a small amount of movement from the wrist. So if this is restricted, supination is restricted at the forearm level, okay, because we have too much of writing, too much of work with the arm in pronation, we don't do much of supination in day-to-day life. But I end up playing a racket sport which requires a lot of supination movement, and then there is a lot of compensatory movement happening at the wrist because of lack of complete supination range, and that will lead to wrist pain. Okay, so you need to understand that when a area is symptomatic, whether be it your shoulder, be it your hip, be it your lower back, you need to work on other areas surrounding it as well. Okay, so stay tuned. I will be coming up with some home remedies for certain common issues, common pain that people go through, be it shoulder pain or low back pain. and how to make yourself more mobile and get better at home itself. Thank you.